Hello everyone, Voodoo here, and it's been a long one. It's been like 4 weeks, 5 weeks since the expansion was released, and it is finally time for Mythic Plus. Now, yeah, it's taken a little while, especially with Heroic Week and everything like that, but Mythic Plus is finally here. Havoc seems to be pretty good in Mythic Plus. Not like absolutely broken, but probably above average and pretty good. So in this video, we're going to be doing a pretty quick, easy Mythic Plus guide to get into it. We'll be doing only on Fel Scarred. Eldrachi isn't really recommended for most players. If you're doing really high keys, it's going to be good for defensiveness. We'll have a separate video going over that in a later time, just because it's pretty complex and different from what Fel Scarred is, and I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long. So we have a Mythic Plus guide today, talents, rotation, and some gear and stuff like that. We're going to do a mover and no mover for Fel Scarred for everybody, and some pretty cool stuff. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to help grow the channel. And also, before we get into it, quick word from this video's sponsor. Before we get to the rest of the video, a quick word from today's sponsor, and that is Trade Skill Master, otherwise known as TSM. If you've been playing WoW for any length of time, you've probably already heard of TSM, but if you haven't, it's a very powerful add-on designed to help players streamline and optimize their everyday economics. Whether you're a hardcore gold goblin or just a casual raider looking to make a few extra bucks to buy some consumables, TSM truly can help everyone. Utilizing their auction helper tool to streamline your auctions and make sure you're not underselling or overbuying, their crafting queues to help you show what's most profitable to craft and keep track of what you need to craft, so no more running back and forth between the auction house and the crafting orders, or even just the restock feature to tell you when to restock on items when you get low. TSM has a feature for everyone. But that's not all. If you're someone who really wants to take things to the next level, who really wants to take a plunge and wants access to all the data that TSM has, including information on pricing of what to buy and when it's most profitable to sell, then consider a premium TSM package. Use my link in the description for 15% off your first purchase of a premium TSM package, and truly take your gold making to the next level and gather a hoard of gold the dragons of Eldraken would be jealous of. Once again, thank you to TSM for sponsoring the video. Go check them out and use my link in the description. Now, enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, so thank you once again to TSM for sponsoring the video. They sponsored a few videos on this channel, and a big shout out to them, so go check them out. Link in the description for 15% off. And here we are with the Mythic Plus build. So this is the best Fel Scarred Mythic Plus build. It is mover, of course. Now, if you don't like mover, there will be an option to not take that. This is just Havoc greatest hits. This will play very similar to how Havoc played in Season 3, except you're not throwing glaives at all. You have a very strong burst with all the Fel Scarred Demon Surge explosions. Big things here, you do have some flex points, those being Essence Break and Glaive Tempest. Those are your two flex points. Realistically, there's not a ton of other spots to put them in. You definitely pretty much want Essence Break for single target damage, but then Glaive Tempest is a flex point. If you don't want to have an extra keybind, you can do Inner Demon. It's going to be worse, but it's like a passable alternative. And if you really want to go balls to the wall into your 2-minute bursts, Fel Barrage is takeable and it's playable, especially if you do have the Scarden's Grace Trinket, which we'll touch on later. But this does end up being like a very strong burst tool if you want to do even more into your 2-minute burst. I would recommend doing Glaive Tempest. It's very strong with your 2 minutes and also outside of that. One of the things with Havoc is you're very burst oriented around your 40-second and 2-minute cooldowns, and outside of that, basically the only source of damage is Ragefire and Immolation Aura. Taking Glaive Tempest gives you an additional source of damage. You basically will have one every 20 seconds, so you'll have 2 every Essence Break window, which helps out a lot. It helps for more consistent damage, which seems to be pretty good this season. We'll see. I am recording this before Mythic Plus starts, so not fully certain on the meta and stuff like that. But I think Glaive Tempest will do more for you instead of Fel Barrage, but it is playable if you want to take that. Now, if you don't want the movement stuff, there is a no mover build. It is very similar to the other one, but you're just dropping 2 talent points and swapping them out here. Now, we are still taking initiative because it is broken, busted, strong in Mythic Plus. This procs on every target you hit, even if you're not doing the vengeful retreat stuff, so would still recommend getting this. The other thing is we are taking Tactical Retreat. Now, this is just strong to pair with Essence Break and all of our I-Beam stuff and the burst. If you don't want to take this, you can take out that point and put it into Blind Fury. This will be a true 0 movement needed. You do not need to use a Vengeful Retreat to take use of initiative, but I would recommend just using it. It's good Fury, and of course it triggers us more and helps with their burst windows. But again, this is the no mover build, very similar to the AoE mover build, but you are just, of course, dropping some of the Fel Rushes. All right, so here we are with the rotation. So we're going to do opener and general rotation for both the mover and no mover builds. Do the opener first, then the general rotation. Shouldn't be too complex. A lot of Havoc's complex rotational decisions are in their cooldowns. Outside of that, it's a very simple to follow priority list. So cooldowns, we have everything up here, and here is what we're going to do. So you want to start off with a throw glaive actually as you go into the pack, just to spread around burning wound. So we'll do that. Then we're going to immolation aura, sigil of flame, fel rush through, hunt back in, glaive tempest, then spend down to 0 immolation aura charges. We had 0. We're going to I-beam, Fel Rush, Death Sweep, Chaos Strike, Backflip into Vengeful Retreat, into meta, Death Sweep, Annihilation, Immolation Aura, Sigil of Flame, I-Beam again, Fel Rush, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Immolation Aura again, Fel Rush, Blade Tempest. Pretty easy stuff there. You would use your trinkets right after the I-Beam, I just didn't push it. And from there, you're going to go into the general priority. So outside of your 2-minute burst, the only real thing that's going to matter is going to be your essence break window. So I'll show you that, and then we'll talk about the priority. So the general essence break window is going to be very similar to what you do in meta. You're going to start off with immolation aura, sigil of flame, then you're going to backflip and I-beam at the same time. Fel Rush back in, use Essence Break, and then Death Sweep and Annihilation and Annihilation. So what that's going to do, of course, is a lot of damage from I-Beam and a lot of Demon Surge damage as well. Outside of that, it really is just going to be using your buttons on cooldown. So you want to use Glaive Tempest as often as possible, you want to use the Hunt as often as possible, and Blade Dance as often as possible, and spend your Fury down with Chaos Strike. You want to line up Immolation Aura to buff either Glaive Tempest, the Hunt, or Blade Dance, and you want to always save 1 charge of Immolation Aura and Sigil of Flame for your I-Beam. Otherwise, it's literally going to be like, oh, using a charge of Immolation Aura here, buffing up Glaive Tempest, using the Hunt, Death Sweep, and then just using Chaos Strike right here. Make sure we're not capping Immolation Auras. And then, oh, our burst is up. Okay, we'll do Immolation Aura, Sigil of Flame, Backflip, I-Beam, Fel Rush through, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Annihilation, Annihilation. Now, the one other tiny thing you want to do is just tap target every now and then. To 3 targets. Your auto attacks apply burning wound, and you can only have 3 of them up at a time. So you want to make sure you're just spreading those out to other targets. But really, it's that simple. Not a ton to Havoc's AoE rotation outside of their cooldowns. Now we come to the no mover portion of the video. So the thing with no mover is that it's going to be very, very similar to the mover portion, except of course we're not using Fel Rush ever. We will be using Vengeful Retreat still because I am going to be showing that, but it's a lot simpler because you're not moving, so you just kind of use things as they come up. So the opener is going to be very similar, so you're going to start off with obviously throwing a glaive just to spread it around, Immolation Aura as you're in combat, Sigil of Flame, Immolation Aura till you run out of them, just keep pushing it till there's no more, Glaive Tempest, Hunt, then I-Beam, Death Sweep, Chaos Strike, Backflip and meta, Death Sweep, Chaos Strike again, Immolation Aura, Sigil of Flame, I-Beam, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Chaos Strike, and then Glaive Tempest again. And then you're kind of just out of it, right? And then again, you're just using all your buttons essentially on cooldown as they come up. You're going to pair I-Beam and Essence Break all the time. Use Vengeful Retreat on cooldown. Build Fury with Fellblade whenever you need to. Try and tab around to spread around Burning Wound, just so you don't spread it around to other targets. And that's about it. You're just using your buttons. The only thing you have to save is Sigil of Flame for your I-Beam window. Otherwise, you will literally be not saving a single thing. You do not need to save I-Beam in this build. You can just send it as much as you want. You can use Vengeful Retreat. Should save it for your I-Beam window, but realistically, you won't be in combat long enough to ever see that happening. Then whenever I-Beam comes back up, you want to use Sigil of Flame first, then I-Beam, then Essence Break, and then Death Sweep, Chaos Strike, and yeah, there's really not a ton happening here. There's really not really a lot for me to talk about or show you. That's kind of the whole no mover, low mover rotation. Very simple stuff, very easy, pretty easy to deal with. All right, we're gonna talk about stats pretty quickly and then just do gear and end it off. I'm not gonna talk about consumables here. If you want to see consumables, you can check out Wowhead, or you can look at my old guide that I did for like everything for Havoc. This is specifically for Mythic Plus, so it should be pretty quick there. So stats. You want to do Mastery and Critical Strike as your main 2. Mastery is going to have a bit more of a benefit, but Crit is still very powerful in Mythic Plus. They're probably about equal. Mastery is good because all of your damage scales with Mastery. Demon Surge scales really good with Mastery. But Crit's really powerful as well. Know your enemy is crazy. Crits matter for Rage Fire. So both of those are going to be very, very strong. After that, Versatility is going to be kind of your 3rd best stat. And if you need to live, Versatility is going to be better to stack, dropping some Mastery for that. Realistically though, Mastery and Crit are just so much damage. You will be losing a pretty sizable chunk of damage for that. And then haste is, while it is good, it is going to bring up the rear. It has about slightly better offensive benefit than verse, but obviously it brings no defensive benefit, so you're not really wanting to use it. So mastery and crit are your number 1 and 2. Crit and mastery are about equal, depends what you have less of, but you want a high amount of both of those. Then verse, then haste, and that's basically going to be your stat priority. The next up is going to be trinkets and items. Now, we'll start with trinkets. Number 1 trinket you absolutely need to farm is Scarred's Grace. This trinket is crazy. It's an on-use 2 minutes, gives you a ton of mastery, and pairs well with your cooldown cycle. Havoc is all about big burst every 2 minutes, so Scarred's Grace giving you a ton of the stat you want is really powerful. This is going to be your best on-use. You can pick up a transmitter if you raid. This is fine. I don't think it's going to be that usable in Mythic Plus or Raid. I think it's going to be pretty hard to grab all the things that you see and use it to its full potential, but it's fine if you don't have a Scarred's yet, but of course Scarred's is farmable. For a second trinket option, there's a few. Egg Sack from the Arakara dungeon is going to be your best one. It was recently nerfed, so it's not as good anymore, but the primary stat it gives you is just so powerful, and there's a slight small benefit to the damage it gives you. Other options, Mad Queen's Mandate is going to be a very strong priority damage trinket if you need priority damage. It is going to be less overall, and realistically, unless you're doing super high keys, it is going to be kind of awkward having 2 on uses with in Mythic Plus. But if you are doing those high keys and you need to do some priority damage, or there's like a totem or a strong thing in a boss fight that absolutely needs to be nuked down, Mad Queen's Mandate is going to be the trinket to go to for that. It is very powerful. Another option from dungeons is the Empowering Crystal. This just gives you some secondary stats on like a proc. It's a pretty good proc, not as good as the primary from Egg Sack, but still a good one overall. Rest of the trinkets aren't that good in Mythic Plus. I really wouldn't look out for them. So those 5 are kind of the ones that you want to try and pick up. Obviously the best one's going to be Scarred's and Egg Sack, or like Scarred's and Mad Queen's if you need that priority damage. In terms of other gear, there's not a ton of other stuff that you really want. The very rare fist weapon from the raid, Void Reaper's Warp Blade, is going to be very good, just because it has a lot of a good stat and also has a pretty solid like just free damage bonus. Not as strong, of course, in Mythic Plus, but still like a pretty good damage bonus overall where you want to pick it up and get some good stuff that way. There's also the very rare ring from the raid, which drops on Queen Ansarek. It's going to be called the Seal of the Poison Pact. This is a Critical Strike Mastery ring, which is a very good ring to get. Of course, it is our best stats. Whenever you deal nature damage, well, damage in general, you gain a stack of Venomous Potential. Every 5 stacks, you deal extra damage. And then nature damage has a chance to grant you additional stacks, which is really good. Of course, as a Havoc, all of our damage is nature because of Chaos. Chaos is every damage type, so you get a lot of damage from this. In terms of crafted gear, you want to do 2 Dawn Thread linings. You're going to do one on your like belt, and the other one on like boots or something like that. Wrist, belt, boots, and hands are the best slots for them. Don't craft the hands yet. Wait to craft hands until you get your tier set, until you get your 4-piece, and then do it. It's not worth to craft over getting your 4-piece. In my other guide, you might hear me say Ascension. Ascension is more so for the raid. It is still going to be worthwhile to craft an Ascension weapon first, if you don't have any good weapons, because getting a 636 weapon is going to be the biggest item upgrade of all, because weapon damage trumps everything. Other than that, again, crit mastery stuff, and you'll be good to go. And that is going to be my guide for Fel Scarred Demon Hunter Havoc in Mythic Plus. Now, of course, things are going to change. If there's any major changes, of course, there are going to be new updated videos. That's what we do here. I do plan on doing a full no mover guide for Raid Mythic Plus, as well as a full Eldrachi Weaver guide for Mythic Plus, just to give people some more stuff. There will be Mythic Plus content, raid content, of course, and also some other non-Havoc stuff. Survival Hunter, of course, as you guys saw the video. But yeah, pretty fun stuff. I think Havoc's actually pretty fun with Fel Scarred. The animation fix to make it bigger actually did make it a lot better, in my opinion. Still nothing like super crazy with the rotation, but it is better than Eldrachi, and for that I am thankful. So there we go. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have any questions, drop them below. There should be links in the description. There should be, anything else in the description that you need to find. I will do my best to answer questions. You want to ask me and I might answer, go to my Discord as well. Otherwise, shout out TSMM for sponsoring the video. Check them out and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and help grow the channel. And I'll see you guys on Monday for the next video. So, peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you, Sky Elk, Andrew Keenel, 100,001 Zans, Brad Wisniak, Felfa Darren Dark Terror, and Magic Man 133. Thank you all so much. If you want to help support me and help fund the channels and the videos, Follow the link in the description to become a channel member and get some cool perks in the process. Again, thank you all so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.